today we're going to be looking at almost a year's worth of information that I have gathered on Ecoworthy's solar products. Along with that, I'm going to show you guys my overall setup, how much power I've generated, what I use it for, some safety measures that come with everything, the cost, emergency uses for real life, app functionality, and also major discounts that they run. There's a lot to unpack in this video, so I've included for you a little timeline. For about $900, I have from them 4 200-watt solar panels, the N-type, the 60-watt solar charge controller with the Bluetooth module, the battery with the Bluetooth module as well at 280 amps. In the 9 or so months that I've had this system, I have generated 505 kilowatts of power. In California, each kilowatt is 35 cents. So if we do the math there, we get about $176. And with all of the battery being 100% most of spring and summer, because all I do is use a grow light and a heat mat, taking a look at historical UV data, I could generate 3 kilowatts of power on the weakest day for 10 months. That's 900 kilowatts, and that at 35 cents is $315 generated. Now imagine if I had it at a more convenient location on my property, where it wouldn't be blocked by trees and would have an extra 3 hours of sunlight a day. Ecoworthy has sent out a temperature probe with the solar charger, and the battery itself has a Bluetooth unit that will send you messages if there's any sort of error like overheating, over discharging, if it gets too cold. All of these are things that are included with both of those units, which is very useful and something that you don't have to worry about if you're out at your job while something is running under a solar panel for your shed or even powering your whole house. Now let's talk about the big one, maybe the biggest one. California has fires. Hurricanes hit Florida. But we would never expect Texas to freeze 4 years ago, yet it did. Well, why wouldn't you invest in a solar kit with a backup battery so at least you are somewhat prepared for when times like that strike? Whether you're charging your car to get a mile further, whether you have an electric heater that's in one small house or part of the room that can keep you warm overnight and just barely survive off of that and not freeze. There are so many opportunities by just having solar, let alone it being able to pay itself off within just 3 years. Here's my historical data. On the right, we have the year where I started with only one solar panel, moved on to 2, and finally I had the whole setup with the 4 N-type solar panels with a battery backup so I could have power at night as well. On the left, we have this current month's power, which is from the end of August till the end of September. And over here, we're getting some shade. So you're not seeing that maximum 3 kilowatt hours of power being generated, but that is something that I was seeing all throughout summer and spring. So I could go in debt power overnight. My battery, I could drain it to 0. And in the daytime, I'll have at least 3 out of the 3.5 kilowatts generated back into that battery that I could use if needed. If you'd like to have the same setup as me, I have 4 solar panels that are connected in series. What this means is you connect the negative and positives together except for 2 solar panels. You leave one ground from one and one positive from the other one. Those will go directly into your solar charge controller under the name of PV, which stands for photovoltaic, and you'll put the corresponding black with the ground, negative, and the other one, positive. What will come out from there then is going to be the positive and negative that goes straight to your battery, which will charge it. The solar charge controller is a very smart unit that knows how much power to take from your solar panels. It takes that, converts it, and safely charges your battery. And it is aware whether you have an AGM battery, a lithium, or any other type of battery. It has an auto function. This also has a temperature probe that comes out. And what I would recommend that you do is sandwich one leg of your charger wire that goes to your battery, so whether the ground or the positive, and one leg coming in from your photovoltaic. So this way, you have a temperature read on both the incoming and the outgoing power. So if for any reason either of them get too hot to the point where it's unsafe, your unit knows to shut off, even though you're not there. In the app, you will see all your owned equipment from Ecoworthy, and you can click on them to see their individual attributes and stuff that they can do. For example, here's a solar charger. It'll show you the voltage coming in from your photovoltaic, your load power, total generated power ever, battery voltage, charging current, charging power. So that's going to be how much watts is going into your battery, what's the voltage of your battery, and how many amps is your battery in out of the 280 for me example. You'll have a lot of parameters that you can control yourself, but personally, I just would not touch those. My favorite thing about the app is that it shows you historical data. So you could see on mine, it has the months, the year, and it shows how much was generated in that time. So I think a peak for me was about 3 kilowatts a day of power, even with the battery being maxed. That's when I cranked up my light to 100% power, left my heat mat on mode. This was just like a full test when I first got it. And finally, the battery. The battery is pretty simple, it just gives you a percentage, but if you want to get more in depth, it will also give you your amperage, your voltage, your power in or power out. It will also state whether it is in the charging mode or discharging mode. For example, if it's charging with 100 watts of power, but you're discharging at 200 watts, it will still show discharging even though you are charging the battery. Thank you guys for watching. This was just an introductory video. Even though it has almost a year's worth of compiled data and information, I'm going to be doing a lot more with Ecoworthy the rest of this year and next year, and also expanding my own personal uses and the equipment I have from them. Thanks for watching. There's going to be links for everything down below, and there is currently a sale going on till the 12th.